Dear audience, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The reason I'm sharing this good morning, good afternoon, and good evening is I'm from Bangladesh. We are from Bangladesh. So, people from Bangladesh, to you, good morning. But the colleagues from other parts of the world could also be following this webinar. So, good afternoon and good evening to you all. So, today, our focus of this webinar is plastic in transition, showcasing impact through innovation in South Asia. So we are really grateful to SAKEP, South Asian Cooperative Environmental Program. So they are implementing a regional project funded by World Bank and supported by United Nations Office for Project Services, UNOPS. The project is called PLEASE, Plastic Free Rivers and Seas. So PLEASE projects is being implemented in several countries in South Asia. And today we are focusing Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, this project has been active since a couple of years, and there are many important players already on board. So the World Bank, SAKEP, they are working very closely with Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the government of Bangladesh. But more importantly, the local government institutions like the city corporation in Dhaka, Purushabha, and other local government entities in Bangladesh for tackling this great challenge. Like one of the critical challenges of the environment of today's world is plastic. And the objective of this program is fully aligned with the action plan for the sustainable waste management of government of Bangladesh. So far, this project has already been partnering with several entities. So those are BRAC, BPCL, Bangladesh Petrochemical Company Limited, RedOrange, Arunok Foundation, Chittagong University, and some other partners, and already generated wonderful results, evidences on the ground. So today we are going to learn from the experts, industry leaders, as well as development professionals, the evidences, those are created and generated throughout the project, how those evidences could be scaled up in Bangladesh, but also in the region. Because as part of the program, there are different platforms of horizontal learning from each other from the similar context. So far, there are good results achieved. So we are really fortunate today. We have distinguished audience as well as we have esteemed panelists. So who are really implementing the project, implementing different innovative components on the ground. So we are really fortunate to have Ms. Ruksar Sultana, a development professional from BRAC, is joining us as one of the panelists. So BRAC is also a regional block grantee of the PLEASE project. I have been working since October 23 to implement the program. We also have Mr. Khadem Yusuf, who is the Managing Director and CEO of Bangladesh Petrochemical Company Limited, also a regional block grantee and implementing the program since October 2023. And we have Ms. Jannatul Munia, Director Strategy of RedOrange Communication Institute organizations. So they are also one of the innovative grantee. They are working since June 2024 and implementing innovative solution within the Dhaka City Corporation. So all three organizations are very credible and they are implementing different programs. All of them have very big portfolio. And as part of this project, through innovative partnership, they have been testing different solutions to deal with the plastic challenges. So with this introductory note, I would like to humbly request Mr. Khadem Yusuf, Managing Director and CEO of Bangladesh Petrochemical Company in Bangladesh, to give a kind of overview, like how Bangladesh is dealing this plastic recycling through RBU models. What is happening in the moment in Bangladesh on this topic? So over to you, Mr. Khadem Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr. Mehedi. Good morning, everyone. To answer your question, first of all, I want to address what is happening in the plastic recycling sector in general in Bangladesh. As you're already aware of that, we are currently consuming about 1.7 to 2 million metric tons of plastic in a year. And out of that, approximately 300,000 tons are being recycled today. Recycling rate is around 30% currently in Bangladesh. So historically, BPCL collects the plastic bottles and process them through our recycling facility in Ruksar, and we produce the recycled PET resin so that the new bottles can be created. So in last few years, we noticed that we are only engaging with the large supplier or the aggregator or the middleman to supply us the plastic raw materials. So through the PLEASE project, we have set up 7 recycling business units who are primarily our collection hub. And through those hubs, we are working with the small Bhangari shop and informal waste pickers so that they can sell their collectibles directly to us, bypassing these large aggregators and the middleman. And in return, also, we are providing them certain social benefit. Their employees and the informal waste pickers are getting certain social intervention through our RBUs, like the free health camp, free medicine, a childcare facility we are providing. We are also providing the life skill training and all the PPEs. So not only that they can sell their collectibles in our RBU at a profit at a higher price, also they are getting certain social benefit so that we can improve the life of the waste pickers. So our goal is it is not possible for them to come to us or send it to our factory due to logistic costs and other issue. So we are bringing our collection facility close to them so that they can provide the collectibles easily to our RBU and improve their life.
So thank you. So the points you are explaining to us this morning is very interesting, as well as is very complex. To deal the plastic waste systematically is very complex, and as business entity, you came forward to work on it, to develop a kind of business model. So I mean, in my next question, so we would like to learn more about this business model. So how this innovative business model is functioning for tackling this great challenge. So now I would like to invite Ms. Ruksar. You are working for BRAC. So we know that BRAC has diverse portfolio and working in diverse sectors. So what was the motivating factor for BRAC to engage in this sector? And also personally from your side, like engaging the plastic waste management, as well as changing the behavior of the people on the ground. So what was the motivating factor from BRAC point of view, as well as from your personal point of view?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mehedi. So in the first segment, I understand that what was the motivating factor for BRAC. So I work in the BRAC Urban Development Program. So essentially waste management and the wider segment of plastic waste management, the overall management falls under the municipality or the city corporation jurisdiction. So BRAC Urban Development Program has been for the longest time, for almost 9 years, have been working with the municipalities and city corporations. And we understood from our work that this is a big challenge and that we need to work on this aspect. So when this regional block grant call came out, we understood that this is of huge potential. And also because when we selected the location of Cox's Bazar, we had the BRAC was already working in Cox's Bazar since 2016. So we understood that due to the large population of the tourist population, as well as, I hope I'm audible. Hello. Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, due to the large population of the local community, the tourists that are coming seasonally, as well as the Rohingya influx that is happening in Cox's Bazar, there is a huge demand for using single-use plastic, and this is where we could potentially work. And then with the collaboration with the municipality, we try to propose a 360-degree approach where we target behavior change, working with the communities that we were already working with under the urban development program. And also we understood that plastic recovery was an important aspect as well, not only behavior change so that people segregate, as behavior change is also part of the solid waste management rule of 2021. So we thought that this aspect falls a lot with what the government is requesting, and then we also come in with a whole approach, and not only behavior change and recovery. We saw that there is a huge potential of recycling as well, as Mr. Khadem already mentioned that there is they have an existing market of PET recycling, but the low value plastic, which are the polythenes and the multi-layer plastic that we usually see on the drains or on the road, this is not getting recovered or recycled. So we have a potential to work in that aspect with the community to recover those plastic and probably recycle it. So this is where, with a very different kind of approach, BRAC came in and started to work in Cox's Bazar. And in terms of my personal aspect, why I actually came to the project is my background is actually environmental science and management. When I did my master's, it was mostly focused on microplastic in waterways. So there is a academic background and a niche where I saw that there is a potential for me to what I actually studied to bring it into the my professional aspect as well. So both of them somehow merged and collaborated, and I came to be part of the project. So yeah, thank you. Mehedi bhai, you are not audible. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. I think it's very, very important and very powerful because the organization like BRAC is changing the behavior of the grassroots people and engaging with different diverse stakeholders. So that's the competence of the NGOs, and have been implementing several big programs. So it's very important, as well as the passionate professionals like you for changing this attitude and behavior of the community people is very important. So now I would like to come back to Jannatul Munia. So you named a kind of implementing innovative solutions within Dhaka City Corporations. So how do you claim that what are you implementing are innovative? So that is one question. And the following question is, how do you quantify the plastics?
Thank you, Mehedi bhai. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's webinar. Sometimes I can go really fast, so Mehedi bhai, you have to stop me if I am going too fast. Another point, just I wanted to mention that our project actually started from January 2025 and implemented till June. So it's a very short-term project in comparison to BRAC and BPCL. So, however, you have asked me like, how is it innovative? So I would start a bit with like where our motivation came from as Ruksar Appa, so it would be easier for me to connect. As you know, like RedOrange is a Dutch Bangladeshi organization. And of course, like red comes from Bangladesh and orange comes from the Netherlands. So while we have been working, we always thought like Netherlands and Bangladesh, both are flat lands, and they have utilized their canals so well, and we could not. So this is something like remained in our hearts always, that what could we do? So our canals become the pride, like Amsterdam, not we are not trying to hide them. So from that, motivation came from. And as most of our colleagues resides in Kolanpur area or like Mirpur, so we thought like we would start from here. So how our project is innovative? we call it 5-4-1 approach. We brought 5 stakeholders or 5 components together to like make it innovative. Like I would give an example, behavior change alone. In our opinion, we have been working with communication for a long time, that behavior change alone doesn't bring the results. It always needs to have a technical component. So we have done behavior change together with the technical innovations, putting barriers in the Kolhapur Canal. And then we realized only these 2 are not enough. If we are not buying in local governments or governments' agenda, then we cannot make it successful. So from the very beginning, we tried to work with DNCC, Dhaka North City Corporation, and we had like their full support in the whole period. So now after our pilot project has ended, DNCC has taken over maintaining of the barrier, and they are still continuing that. And then we realized like these are 3 components. Still, it was not enough. So we need to have the buy-in from the local beneficiaries, like the community and the waste sorter, like who sorts the waste in there. So we have tried to work with the waste workers to develop their capacity, and also as well as we worked with the community. So because it's the community who are going to take it over. We will not be there for always. So community needs to have their say in that. So these were the 5 components or 5 stakeholders we brought in together. And as we always say, like innovation is not always invention. It's putting the right components in the right place and make it as a whole. So that was like the innovation part. And your question was like, how are we quantifying? So we did a baseline, we did an end line before the project started. We had many indicators, including how much plastic waste we have been collecting. And we saw like only this 6 months initiative actually has reduced people dumping plastic in the canals. Like we saw indicators in different ways. Behavior was changed. 150 tons of plastic was collected every day. The sorters also say they can sort better now. The water velocity in the canal has increased. I would say like the community stopped dumping the waste in the canals. So there were many indicators that we have been monitoring, and it was done by a third party. So we can say like we did not do it ourselves. The project actually quantified this success. I don't know if I could answer your question well. So I hope I did.
The Kolhapur Canal, the overall situation has been changed. So,
Yes.
and the collection system has been significantly improved. So the follow-up question, like through this system, the plastics are collected, and where does it, where it is moving to, like where the plastics are throwing it? Like is city corporation sending those or transporting those plastic to dumping ground, or what happened next?
Thank you. So the short answer would be to the landfills, because we had only a 6 months project where we could not like work on the whole thing. We just wanted to reduce plastic from the canals. That was our main agenda. And we thought like in this short period of time, we need to do something that's already existing. We cannot like reinvent the wheels. So what we did, we talked to the DNCC that we will make it easier to collect the plastic from the canals, which was difficult before. Because of the barrier, the plastics are accumulating in the same place. And the waste collectors, they can just pick from one spot instead of like the whole canals. So that was our main consultation point with DNCC. And the waste we are collecting now, DNCC is taking it over. We have tried to also incorporate it with the already existing mechanism so that like it's not very difficult for us. So DNCC is collecting and ultimately throwing it in the landfills.
Okay, thank you. Now the question towards Khaled Bhai, because for your plant, you need plastic. So from where are you getting these plastics? So the similar question, but from different angles. So from where you are getting this plastic? And the previous question, what is the business model for you? Like what is the incentive for it, for doing business in this sector? Over to you, Mr. Khaled Yusuf.
Okay, thank you for the question. If I understand correctly, your question is where are we getting the raw materials like the discarded plastic bottles from? As I mentioned that we have so far collected about 30,000 tons, which is roughly 220 crore bottles from approximately 350 suppliers around the nation. And some of them are pretty large suppliers. They are the middlemen and the aggregators, and some of them are the small bhangari shop. But the small bhangari shops are only supplying to us who are within the vicinity, within the few kilometers of our recycling plant in Ruksar. So the objective of the PLEASE project to set up the RBUs is that because the majority of the collection shops or the bhangari shops are very small, they can only sell their collectibles around their area or the nearby aggregators. So through the RBUs, we are bringing the RBUs closer to them so that they can supply their collectibles, even the small quantity, directly to our RBU. So our motivation is to again reconnect to the supply chain, to the actual collection shops, the informal waste pickers and the small bhangari shop that are actually collecting in the field and helping them to bypass the middlemen and the aggregators, because a significant portion of the profit margin goes in the pocket of the aggregators and the middlemen. So we would like to give that profit to them so they can increase their income. And also I mentioned that we are getting a lot of social benefit for them. So we are buying steel significantly from the large aggregators and the middlemen because our requirement is quite large per day. But we are slowly transitioning to our collection through the RBOs. And our goal is 50% of our daily requirement should come from the RBOs. And we are on the way, still not achieved, but we are thinking that within 6 to 8 months, we will achieve that. So the beginning next year, 50% of our requirement will come directly through the RBUs. That means that from the small collection shops, and the 50% will be depending on the traditional aggregators and the middlemen. You're not audible.
So are you in any way have any kind of a partnership with the Dhaka North or Dhaka South City Corporation? Because from Jannatul Munia, we learned that the waste they're collecting, the plastics they're collecting, basically taken up by the city corporation and they are throwing it to the dumping ground. So through this chain, like how the private sector or the Bangladesh Petrochemical company is coming in.
This is not as simple because if you, as you already know, there are two kinds of plastic waste right now in Bangladesh. I think Ruksar just touched on it. One is the high value plastic, like the PET bottles or the HDPE bottles, which has very high value and very high demand. So very rarely you see them go through the municipality waste collection chain. These are actually segregated at the source whenever the van driver or the informal waste picker see those plastic bottles, they kindly separate them. If somehow it end up in the secondary transfer station, the workers there separate them. So hardly any high value plastic end up in the landfill or go through the municipality channel. So we are talking with Chittagong City Corporation now, but we don't see any plastic bottles. I think it's less than 0.0 some percent in the landfill or the municipal channel, those high value plastic. Unfortunately, the low value plastic like the polythene bags and multi-layer sachets, these are pretty much end up in the landfill. So our supply of the PET bottle, I would say 99.99% come through this informal supply chain, which has been in Bangladesh for many as 30 years. Right now, these are very well established and all the high value plastic are flowing through them. But again, this is informal. And our goal of the PLEASE project is formalization of the informal plastic value supply chain so that we can bring transparency and have an idea how this supply chain is working and actually benefit the people inside the supply chain. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, perfectly. So thank you. So the next question would be, how are you changing the life of the informal waste pickers? So just keep this in your mind that I'm coming back to you. So now the question to Mrs. Ruksar, like it was very interesting point coming from the business side that high value plastic and low value plastic. But as BRAC,
I think Mehedi bhai is.
So can you hear me? I'm back.
Okay. I think Mehedi bhai, we missed you for last 10-15 seconds.
Sorry for that. So I'm now coming back to Mrs. Ruksar Sultana. So it was very interesting from the private sector, the high value plastic and low value plastic. It's very interesting. So from public health professional or from environmental science professional, how do you see, like as BRAC or as general citizen, we would like to see that the environment is plastic free and it is managed very well. But the private sector's interest is on high value plastics. So how are you engaging with the community on that front? Number one. Number two is like in the whole process, how women play a role through your mobilization process. How do you see the role played by women in the community? So over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mehedi. So in terms of the high value and the low value plastic, just to supplement what Khadem bhai already mentioned, we actually did under the Peace Project, we did around 24 cleanup drives we identify around 693 hotspots in our working area of Cox's Bazar, and we tried to tackle those hotspots where people were dumping waste irresponsibly in different locations throughout the municipality. So when we actually tried to do cleanup drives on those locations, we saw that, as he already mentioned, the hard plastics or the PET bottles were literally none. We only found very dirty the polythenes and wrappers. Those were and then a lot of styrofoam as well. So we very early on in the project, we saw that the high value plastic that is already being recycled is getting collected already. So whenever the dirty places, if we identify, they do not have those. So when we actually also worked with we also mapped it. We discussed with the conservancy unit of Cox's Bazar as well, and we also followed some of the waste collectors and the waste pickers as well, and had FGDs and KIs with them, and we identified that this, because it has value and it is being purchased, they are already recovering it. So there is a very less chance of us through any of our intervention to collect those, because it has a value. People are actually segregating it and selling it. So this is where we came in. We realized that the low value plastic, the polythene and the wrappers, because it doesn't have much of a value, it is not getting collected or recycled, because that technology is quite expensive, to be very honest. The machines to process those plastic is expensive, and also the process of collecting, because these plastics are very dirty. So washing it and then processing it is also quite expensive. But this is where the generous please grant came in, and the amount that we got, we actually we tried to pilot recycling these polythenes. So right now what we are doing in our plastic recycling facility that we established through this grant, we are recycling these polythenes into lumbers, which we essentially are trying to make it as an alternative to timber. So instead of timber, they could probably use these lumbers as structures to the furniture. So probably the table stands where the tables are, or the furniture's body, we can use this as a lumber. And the multi-layer plastic, the wrappers, we are trying to convert it to sheets, so that can be used as a tabletop. And these right now, as I said, because these do not have a value in the market, the polythenes and the wrappers, what the other aspect that we tried on with the communities, we introduced a barter system, so that we could collect a little bit cleaner terms of plastic, and set in the community mindset that these plastic also has a market value. So we exchanged these polythenes and wrappers for rice and pulses. So this is where we slightly came in the community with a campaign where they also realized that okay, this plastic that we were actually throwing off has some sort of value, because BRAC is actually purchasing it to be recycled in the recycling facility. So successfully through the cleanup drives and the barter campaign that we conducted, we have collected around 66 tons of plastic, which we are actually going to recycle in our facility. The other aspect is, because the market for the lumbers and sheet is not there, we hope to carry this forward and connect with the market actors so that we can also sell these lumbers and sheet as an alternative to wooden products to make furniture. This is where we want to take it forward with connecting the market. In terms of the women and how we connected with them, as Khadem also already mentioned that the middlemans, this is, we do not have a lot of women in the scrap dealing or tokai business. When we had some targets under the police project that we want to evolve women as entrepreneurs in the recycling business. And when we actually went in Cox's Bazar, it was very difficult. It took us almost 6 months to actually identify 10 female who are actually doing the business in the scrap dealing industry. And we realized mostly women are acting as tokai or direct in the landfill. They segregate the waste to recover some plastic so that they can sell. So this is where we intervened, and then we realized that women, if we provide them some logistic, bookkeeping support and training and safety materials, they can enhance their working and environment and work a little bit better in their business and enhance their connectivity to the market, and they can recover better plastic. So this is where we directly worked with women who were direct tokais, and we tried to evolve them as a better better as a scrap dealer who can be the middleman to sell it to the bigger aggregator. So this is where we came in, and also we have capacitated them to collect these low value plastics so that when we actually can purchase plastic in for our facility, we can buy it from them to be recycled in our facilities. This is where we created the market for them to sell the low value plastic directly to our facility. I hope I took a lot of time. I had a lot to add. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. So low value plastic, you are adding value so that it is marketable and they are selling their products, earning, and then women are getting empowered. So that's the summary I learned from you.
Yes.
Yes. The fantastic work that you have been implementing. So now I would like to come back to Ms. Jannatul Munia. So implementing a program in Dhaka City, focusing on a canal is very challenging. So throughout the journey, like what kind of major challenges you faced and how you managed them, and then how you would be the successful example?
Thank you so much. I always feel like BPCL and BRAC, they have implemented such big projects. And compared to that, like our project was really small. So it's always nice for inspiration to listen from Ruksar.
All is beautiful. All is beautiful. And then scaling up is essential.
Yeah. Okay. So challenges, we have had challenges. One in particular, we mentioned that it is really difficult for a project like this to be implemented within 6 months, because like the administrative process for the management, like it takes a long time. But I think like we were successful because from very beginning, even before starting the project, we have been in regular communication with Dhaka North City Corporation, and the way they have supported us is tremendous. Because if we try to have their approval for anything, like putting the barriers in the canal, it generally takes a long time for that process. But they said like, no, okay, you can, they expedited the process. So that was one major support from them. The second was the community. So I would like to share that when we went to the Kollanpur Canal to put the barriers, we thought we identified 2 places that we will put the barriers. But when we went there, the community came in, asking us like, what are you doing? So we say that this is our plan. We want to put barriers, and collect plastic so that you have a nice canal in here. Then actually they said like 1 or 2 barrier will not work. You need to put at least 4 or 5. And they were the one who showed us the location. So that was like amazing help. And then the community said like, no, not this way, the other way. So as we work in communication and project management, it was difficult for us to go to this infrastructural thing. But the way community guided us, it was amazing. Secondly, after a while, the community said like, you have put the barrier in here, but you have like created trouble for us. We asked why. Then they said like the waste will be collected in here and it will smell. And then they said like, you should do it like this, so that put a gate in here so that the waste management workers from DNCC, they can come and collect the plastic easily. And then actually like hearing from them, we put a gate. And then they said like, now you have put a gate, can you do another small thing? You just make a bench so that it can be a beautiful place where everyone can sit and talk. And that will also encourage everyone to not throw the plastic again. So in summary, actually, like without communities buy-in, projects like this can never see the success of light. So I think those are the most two important components. And another thing was like we have partnered with UIU, CSIRS, the research center of UIU, and Mujibur sir and Tarek sir, they have helped with the infrastructural design and they have helped tremendously. Thank you. Yeah, Khadem, sorry, not Khadem, Mehedi, can you hear? Could you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you, but in between couple of seconds, I missed you.
Okay.
Thank you. So it was really a challenging journey, and you have become successful in managing all those challenges. So now I'm coming back to Mr. Khadem Yusuf with my previous question. So how did you engage with the waste pickers, and what kind of changes in their life you could see after your engagement? So that is one part. And then the second part is like, as a private sector entity, you managed to get grants from this program. So how did you see the value of this partnership? So you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll answer the second part. In my previous reply, I mentioned that when we started the project in 2016, the recycling, we were buying the collectibles from the small bhangadi shop. And gradually we see that slowly this transition happened, and only the large aggregators and the large middlemen with deep pocket were able to supply the collectibles to us. Like a truck, at least like 5-6 ton you have to send. And in order to do that, you need to have a baling machine. So you need to have certain investment. And a lot of these informal waste pickers and the small collection shops, they didn't have the fund to invest. So they were giving their collectibles to the aggregators, and those aggregators were aggregating the material and bring it to us. So in the middle, a significant margin were taken by this middleman. So when we start engaging again with the bhangadi shops, and in entire Bangladesh, we buy plastic at a same rate. So there's no discrimination on the price. So they were able to sell to us in our RBOs at a higher price. So in that sense, in our inline survey, we saw that by doing that, a bhangadi shop were reporting average 32% income enhancement when they are bypassing the middleman and aggregators and selling to the RBOs directly. So number one is they're getting a significant income enhancement by selling directly to us. Number two is they're getting social benefit like the health camp free of cost, childcare support for their employees, personal protective gears, first aid box, and the training that how can they enhance their income and do the better sorting. So we feel that we brought a significant change in the life of the small collection shops owner, employees, also the informal waste pickers. Unfortunately, we only could get few informal waste pickers who are actually working around our RBOs. So they roughly reported about 17% income enhancement when they bring those collectibles to our RBOs directly, not to the bhangadi shop. So I see that by helping them to enhance their income, their livelihood also changed. They could easily afford certain things in their livelihood from this additional income. So this is something that we also felt that we again reestablish our connection to the Bhangari shops and the informal waste pickers. So I think that we can now directly influence this informal supply chain, and we are trying to formalize the thing. And secondly, is through this project, we are also developed a tracking software where we are actually registering all the collectibles coming to our RBU, and through the entire supply chain, we are logging them. And then through when we process them in our RBU, that comes to the BPCL factory. From the BPCL factory to our customer, everything is traceable. And we partner up with Nogod. Now we are partnering with bKash, and we are paying the informal waste speakers and the Bhangari shop through these digital mobile financial services, so that they can come slowly into the bankable system. So we are also bringing them, and later once they work with us, we hope that they can avail facility from the bank. So it's a comprehensive thing, not only that we establish the supply chain and make it fair and make it fully traceable and transparent, but also we are helping them to enhance their income. So this is what we have the impact. And your first question, sorry, I forgot your first question. Could you please repeat that?
The question is, as the private sector entity, you could manage to get the grant. So how do you value this partnership led by Sakeb?
Oh, this is extremely valuable, Sakeb. And with this grant, we were able to set up our collection hub where we can establish connection to this informal supply chain or the Bhangari shop. So this was enormously valuable. Number one, we could bring the transparency. We learned quite a lot how this supply chain works from the ground up. And also with this grant, we are able to work with the Bhangari shops and the informal waste pickers and help them to improve their livelihood. So it is enormously valuable for us, for the learning point of view, for the implementation point of view. And overall, we hope that we create a significant impact in the life of the waste pickers. Without this support from Sakeb and the World Bank, I don't think we could have done it.
It's a very clear message. So the Sakeb is a kind of platform of the government in South Asia, and World Bank is financing that. And this evidence generated throughout this project is extremely valuable. Usually in government mechanism or any project, no private sector is targeted to provide grants. But through this mechanism, that's a wonderful example generated. And this example could also be used for solving the similar kind of challenges or scaling up these challenges. So it's very good example, and the partnership is really well appreciated. So with this line, I will ask a similar question to three of you. So under this innovative partnership mechanism, what are the three success factors for each of you to BRAC, to RedOrange, and to BPCL? So starting from BRAC. So under this partnership mechanism, what are your three success factors? Mrs. Ruksar.
Yes, so I think the beauty of this grant has been in the fact that while there was a proposal that we initially got the grant through, there was a beauty in co-creation. Whenever it was very community driven, and whenever we went to the community and whatever feedback we got, we could incorporate it in our implementation as well in coordination with Sakeb. So I think even Sakeb and UNOPS, when they came into the picture, when we tried to reach out to them that this is the modality that we want to intervene with our intervention, they were very responsive. While they were stringent in terms of the environmental and social compliance, but I think when we came in with them with justification, they were very responsive to what we wanted to work through. And I think with this grant, it was very collaborative in terms of the partnership that we could do with the ministry. I think the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change were very receptive to the interventions that we wanted to implement. And I think having them on board made our life very easy in terms of implementation with the DOE, then the local government as well. Having them back the project really helped us in terms of our interventions. I think it was very successful in terms of the partnership that we could leverage through SACEP and UNOPS. I think this connection really helped us in terms of our intervention, partnering with the different government entities. So yeah, from our end, I think that should be the success. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Now, the same question to Jannatul, Munia.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think what Ruksar mentioned that always like stays, it has been tremendous. I would like to add that in the process also, in the partnership process with UNOPS, World Bank, SACEP, we have developed our capacity a lot in terms of like project management, in terms of financial management, in terms of environmental sustainability. I mean, we thought you knew, but then we tried to implement this. We learned so many new things that I will take it always with me. So that's one beautiful part. Second part, I would say like the support we got from the grantees, from BRAC, from BPCL. I remember like when we were struggling with design of our barrier, we actually went to Cox's Bazar, and Ruksar, they are doing similar intervention also in some of their canals. And we actually saw the barriers from there. And a lot of things we took from that design. So without this partnership, I think like it would be difficult for us to do by ourselves. From BPCL, I remember like we had a discussion with Khadem bhai after our project implementation that is there any possible way to scale it up, how we are working. And then Khadem bhai gave some amazing suggestions that you can maybe think about like putting the barriers in those canals, like some canals in Cox's Bazar, because then you can like, this is a very strategic point, and then you can get good plastic from there, and it would be helpful and beneficial for everyone. So those were like for me very important points that we could not have done by ourselves. And then points remain. I have already mentioned about support from DNCC. It was also tremendous support we got. So more or less like the community, of course, more or less like whoever we reached out to, we got support for this project. So I think it's also a beauty of Please project. Wherever we go, if we say that we work for the Please project, that everyone recognizes and understands and listens. So overall, like these are the things that I think went very successfully.
Thank you. Now, coming back to Mr. Khadem Yusuf. Same question.
The three learning. I think the main important that learning that we have done, or the achievement, is actually connected to the supply chain. I said that level in the informal waste pickers or the bhangari shops. And the thing is quite complex. I think I didn't get into that. There's a lot of issues here related to the supply chain. Like the bhangari shop, they take, you are familiar with the term called dadon, that advance payment. So these dadons are given by this middleman and also the aggregators to this bhangari shop and the informal waste pickers. And this dadon's rate is astronomical, nobody knows. So this dadon system keeps them, force them to sell their collectibles to the aggregators and the middleman. And this is a never-ending cycle. It always goes on. And also, a lot of times, the middlemen and the aggregators are quite powerful in the region, in their respective areas. So if the informal waste pickers or the collection shop, if they want to give it to somebody, a lot of times they were not able to due to the issues. So by establishing our RBO closer to them and working with them very closely, we are helping them to bypass this middleman and the bhangari shop and selling to us directly at a higher price, and thus enable them. They reported about 32% income. I think that is the biggest success in this project, with the support of SACEB and World Bank, that we are successfully able to work with the Bhangari shop and informal waste pickers and help them to enhance their income. And secondly, I said that we brought the full traceability. And thirdly, that now these RBUs are fully operational. We have collected about 600 tons through RBU right now. And we are planning to increase it quite a bit. And every month we are planning to get 300 to 400 tons through the RBUs. That is our current goal. And if we can achieve that, then I think that this whole supply chain, with the formalization of the supply chain and making it fully compliant and sustainable, I think that is the ultimate goal. And if we can achieve that, we are already almost there. But if we can achieve that, I think we can come up with a fast model on the plastic collection and recycling, which is sustainable and compliant. And we should be able to replicate that around the country and also in the region. It's very possible. And third thing is we are working with the Bhutan. We are helping Bhutan Ecological Society to set up the plastic collection system and also the recycling plant in Bhutan. And we are helping them with all the knowledge and our experience, so that they can successfully set up the plant and also doing the plastic collection and recycling there. I think these are the three major achievements through this project.
Thank you. So my next question is partially answered by you. So next question is also the same question to three of you. So the evidences are generated. So now the question is how to scale it up. So scaling it up countrywide, but also potentially to the region. Because managing plastic is very important, very crucial for our public health, human health, and also the health of the environment. It's very important. So from that point of view, so from each one of you, please focus on the model you have tested, the evidences you have generated, how these can be scaled up with two scenarios. One scenario is there is a project supported by development partners like World Bank or managed by SACEB or UNOPS. That is one scenario. Another scenario is like without any project, because you have already developed your own knowledge, capacity, networks. So how, I mean, just with these two scenarios, so there will be a larger program and scaling up through your expertise, knowledge, how you foresee that. And another aspect is scenario is that there is no program. So how do you see that these methodology, partnership, arrangements, and the evidences generated, how this could be scaled up? So considering these two scenarios, so if you please reflect, like the same question for all three of you, that would be fantastic. So who would like to start this time voluntarily?
I could come in. So,
Okay.
so in terms of the learnings that we have had, I think where BRAC came in, I think in terms of partnership that we had with the municipality, when we initially started the construction, we completed the construction, there was this conversation because the recycling facility that we set up is in the municipality land. So they came in and they said that beyond the project, before you hand it over the facility to us, can you still run the facility a year so that we are capacitated to run the facility and how to use it. So this is where I think without because the grant money ends in September, so we do not have any World Bank funding after this month. So this is where BRAC came in, and the Urban Development Program has decided that we will continue our support for one more year and to keep the facility operational and continue our community mobilization in Cox's Bazar and ensure that the behavior change and the recovery processes that we have maintained through the police project keeps its momentum. And then in the meantime, we also have the pathway for our exit and have the knowledge transferred to the municipality. So that is one aspect of the police project continuing beyond the project timeline. In terms of scaling up beyond Cox's Bazar, what right now the project team that has worked in in the project we have as a program, we have transferred a lot of our knowledge, and we are actually having our program development team as well design different going forward projects across the learning, taking the learnings from our project to different project design, as well as we have a project in Savar and Borishal in pipeline as well, with different grants. I will not mention them, where we are taking some of the knowledge that we have in terms of the implementing interventions, and we are trying to take this pilot information and trying to scale it up in Savar and Borishal as well. So taking some of it and going through our programs to different cities is what we are trying from BRAC's end. So from our end, this is what we are trying to do going forward after September.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that means the knowledge generated through this project, like the experiences, you as BRAC is scaling it up. So what about other organizations? Like if some other organizations would like to learn the model you have tested. So did you develop some kind of or captured some kind of methodology or knowledge product available so that people can read, learn, and develop their own programs? So
Yes.
it could be other NGOs, it could be any municipality or city, it could be even the government entities. Like what kind of methodology have been tested and what are the major lessons? Is there any kind of capture of knowledge and any product available?
Yes, we have actually developed a learning document of some of our key learnings from the project and the interventions through our meal department. That is, if anyone wants to avail it, it is in the pipeline of getting reviewed. So that is one. But for specifically for other municipalities to take these learnings forward, we actually developed a waste management guideline. So small secondary towns and cities, the smaller ones, can learn from those suggestions and recommendation and implement it in their interventions as well. So we have developed that. That is also under review for through World Bank and SACEP. They're reviewing it. Once those are all done through the communication channel, we will actually have that available for wider dissemination. So we have produced some knowledge documents for them. Apart from that, another thing that we are actually welcoming is if anyone reaches out to us, we are actually welcoming a visit for of all our intervention. So I think there was BRAC University, then International Independent University Bangladesh, then IUCN, IOM, all those individuals from those organizations reached out to us, and we facilitated them for a learning visit of our facility as well as our different interventions. So we are welcoming everyone who is interested and who is working on this sector to have those knowledge and take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now, who would like to come? I'm not asking anyone, like it could be Mr. Khadem Yusuf or could be Jannatul Munia. So the same question. Okay. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So our project has already ended in June. So already 1-2 months have passed. So we have been working closely with Dhaka North City Corporation because Dhaka North City Corporation said that if we could show success of the police project to them, then they would replicate it for the other canals in at least Dhaka. So we are currently in communication with them for this scale up. And then we are also exploring our Dutch connections. As you know, that there is a Dutch water consortium. So we are in conversation with them about how to scale it up, and we are working there. So even though the project has ended, we still like maintaining our barriers, which we put in the canals with our own funding and together with the support of DNCC. So as I was texting in the group, even now when there is any issues with the barrier, the community calls us. So they are working as our monitoring system. They will call us, like said, why didn't you fix it? So we are like very happy with that. And we go and fix it. So things are like working in that way. And we are also exploring together with the funders, different funders, if we can scale it up. What was the next question? I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, you generated the evidence. Definitely, as RedOrange, you are exploring different funders. If there is any funding, then it will be very easy to scale. But another dimension, I mean, without funding or without a big program, so how the experiences generated throughout this program going to influence the further scaling up initiative in the country?
Two ways. One thing is like our project was relatively smaller, and we always say that why didn't we put any barrier in the ocean? Because that's like very expensive and we cannot like manage it or afford it. So that's why we thought like if we can stop plastic in the canals, which is affordable, manageable, and can be managed within the local municipality budget. So it's not a very big project to scale up. So we see that as an opportunity that our intervention is very cost effective. So I think like in that way, without funder, we can work with the local city corporation to scale it up. Second thing is about, sorry, my voice, learning and sharing. For learning and sharing, I think like every the other please grantees, we had dissemination events. We had 3 dissemination events, one national, another with the local government, another with the local media. So we have already shared learning in there. Also, like now we are exploring different publications, like webinars like this. We are participating in any way of possible to disseminate this knowledge. So if anyone can replicate this, they can. And also we have developed a small kind of like visible material for our barriers, how barrier works. So if anyone wants, we can also share that.
Thank you. Very happy to learn that you have already developed that kind of material to share with relevant partners and stakeholders and cities. Now, coming back to Mr. Khadem Yusuf. So how do you reflect on the question of scaling up nationwide?
Thank you. I think we are a bit different because we are coming from a commercial point of view. We had a recycling plant before we engaged with the police project. So our now goal is to make the RBU, each RBU, the 7 RBU is completely sustainable. It's compliant, but we have to make it sustainable. So it can itself run it by its own with the revenue generated by the RBUs. That is the work now we are doing. And with that, if it is sustainable and compliant, we can replicate it around every district headquarter. And we are planning to franchisee the model. That this model they can follow and make it fully profitable and compliant. If you notice that in Bangladesh, unfortunately, there are certain compliant factories which are not sustainable in the plastic recycling area. And there are a lot of sustainable small shops, small recycling factory in Old Town, which are not compliant. So we have tried to combine these two and coming up with the compliant model. And the model should be replicatable, not only in Bangladesh, even in the region. And it has to be fully sustainable. That is our goal. And that's how we are working on it. And these RBUs are part of BPCL. They are part of BPCL supply chain and part of the supply chain and also the collection network. These are very valuable to us. So regardless of the status of the police project, this will be part of us and we will be continuing enhancing them. And our goal is to collect, right now we are getting about 10 to 20% of our consumption through the RBUs, and we are planning to increase it to 50%. So we are continue working in the RBUs, enhancing its capability, collection and processing in the RBUs. And we are trying to send a lot of the processing, initial processing from the factory to the RBUs. So the RBUs can have a better margin, more responsibility, and they can also increase their collection and processing there. So as I mentioned that it will continue and we hope to increase the RBU. Our plan is in next 2 years to increase it from 7 to 20 and make it fully commercially viable. And that RBU not only will be doing the collection, and we intend to continue the social intervention through the RBUs.
Thank you. And for that, you need a kind of enabling environment from government, right?
Yes, that would definitely help. And one thing I would just to mention here, I think one of the major problem right now in the plastic supply chain and the collection network is there is an ambiguity on the AIT. if you know that you have to deduct 5% AIT in every level, like if you collect any plastic waste, number one, you have to collect from the official source. The person who is selling to us must have the registered with the government, has the VAT certificate. And secondly, that once you buy the collectibles from there, any monetary transaction, you have to deduct 5% AIT and give it to the government through the challan. So this is a huge problem. That's why the Bhangari shops, they are not registered with the government. So we are struggling to bring them in the formalization, but they are not very interested due to this sort of issues from NBR. Because right now in Bangladesh, there is nothing called waste. It's all industrial raw materials. So that is where the problem lies. And I hope that government address this, and so that we can bring this informal network into the formal channel.
Thank you. And for taking these kind of issues up, engaging with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, but also through MUFCC with National Board of Revenue and all other stakeholders is very helpful. If SACEP or any formal platform regionally, intergovernmental platform, as well as intergovernmental platform like UNOPS and development partners like World Bank is coming up and facilitating this kind of negotiation advocacy with government, it will be really very helpful. So the different kind of partnership as well as different kind of organizations could work together, like the organizations like BRAC, the giant in social mobilization, and then RedOrange innovation, and then the public sector like BPCL. So different kind of mandate and different kind of portfolio you are handling, but shooting the same problem from different angle is very important, and it's very much needed to solve the problem of the real world. And through this program, LEASE program, so these wonderful evidences are generated. And I was really very happy and was learning a lot. And I believe that it was a kind of real masterclass for our audience, that how the conceptualization part was done and how those are implemented through innovative partnership arrangement, also engagement with the government, national level as well as in the local level, municipalities and cities. And more importantly, the waste pickers, like Mr. Khadem, you were mentioning, the way they are organized, informal, and how to make them formal. And the project at this stage, within very short time, achieved a lot of exciting results. And we wish that these results are sustaining within your organizations. Mr. Khadem ensured that it will be with them, the business entity. And BRAC also mentioned that they are continuing. They are scaling up with other partners. And we believe that BRAC has that capacity to engage with different partners, funding entities to leverage, as well as RedOrange, very innovative and evidence-driven. So within their network, they are doing this great work. And I'm very confident that the methodologies are tested, will be scaled up. The last point is to influence the decision makers, like change makers within the ecology in Bangladesh. As you mentioned, like the small projects implemented, not a kind of resource intensive. So that means the people within the municipality, city corporation, or some people within the system, if we can really engage with them, and then if we can educate them that the easiest way to solve their problem, I think that could be another way of proactive engagement. And through different methodology mechanisms, we can do that, because very often there are platforms with, at the moment, there is no mayors, but very often in Bangladesh, we experience that there is a kind of event happening only targeting with the mayors. I know BRAC also arranged that before, but also the city administrators, city officials, the engineers, the planners, or some other people who are really directly working with the cities. So and the professional institution like Bangladesh Institute of Planners that we are working with, Government of Bangladesh, civil ministries, several municipalities, city authorities, departments, development partners, as well as NGOs, private sectors, political parties, interestingly, that we are engaging with different stakeholders and entities. So we could also support this process to scale up, countrywide scaling up, because in several cities and municipalities, there are urban planners and the town planners, they're working. But also in different system within government, ministries and departments, we have our members, as well as in different NGOs. We could also play a role in scaling up, but we could also get benefited from you, like the evidence generated. With that evidence, we could also probably run some training programs, not only for our members, like the planners, but also other professionals, environmental science, engineer, economist, business graduates, because Khadem Yusuf Bhai already develop a kind of innovative business model for environmental topics, plastic topics. So we could develop a kind of several modules, and we can run trainings for capacity development, because many people working in this space, they could not generate the evidence, so they could not create the results. But you have already done that. So based on these experiences, knowledge, we can work together. I'm not sure. I don't know, like, if any module has already been developed. If not, under Please project, we can reach out to SACEP or UNOPS, or even to other partners. Like, we can really develop some kind of training modules for training up professionals. That would be one of the ways so that the knowledge is staying within the system. Potentially, we could also engage with universities, as already mentioned by Ruksar, that BRAC University, IOB, and other universities to teach the future professionals. So these two aspects, we can add value from Bangladesh Institute of Planners, because we are working with 7 public universities: Chuet, Pabna University of Science and Technology, Jahangirnagar University, and Khulna University, urban and regional and rural planning departments. So we could add value in this process. So with this note, my conclusion would be like that fantastic session we had today. We learned a lot of issues, how to solve the environmental problem, plastic challenges on the ground sustainably, changing the attitude of the grassroots people, as well as solving the practical problem and developing a kind of business model so that it runs automatically. It's wonderful arrangements. And I really appreciate the partners, especially SACEP, World Bank, and UNOPS, because you designed this project in a fantastic way. You brought all different kind of stakeholders, expertise together, and generated the wonderful result. So I hope the member countries of SACEP, like, they will take it up. The ownership will be there, and the changes will happen, because this is important for us as human beings, but also for the environment. Like, environmental health is very important for the existence of the ecology, ecological balance, and the nature and natural health of the planet is very important. So for this challenge, for tackling this challenge, we need to work together. And there is a clear-cut commitment from all of you, because you said that even there will be no funding, you are going to continue. So that's the spirit. And with this spirit, I would like to continue. I would like to conclude and thankful to SACEP, UNOPS, and World Bank for arranging this webinar and inviting all of us. Thank you so much for today.